Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's just the way. Good morning, yeah, wherever you are. My name is Otumba Olawode Oseni, a talk show host on Otumba Who Latest TV. I'm based in the UK and a pensioner for that. I'm very happy to be a pensioner because I've worked for the age. I've gotten to age where you see yourself to be retiring. And when you retire, you want to spend the rest of your life enjoying yourself, doing what you like to do best. In most cases, well, life continues. Sometimes it could be also a bit of up and down. But the most important thing is to choose where you want to continue with Sagbasula, Yoruba people say, or you want to continue with the unnecessary struggle, unnecessary problem of getting yourself involved in all kind of things. So it depends on individual. So to be honest with you, I'm unable to speak for people of my age group who are retired, who still have pursuit of this and that. Some of them will choose to be happy. Some will just choose to continue the struggle, honestly, for no just cause. However, me, I'm enjoying my pension age. Tonight, one of my shows that I normally do Friday, I've changed it. I choose to do the show when I want, as long as I keep the touch base with my fans. I'll send in the invite maybe shortly before. And I'm also aware that there's so many uh, outlets on YouTube. There's so many things people can watch. Don't forget we are about 8 point something billion human beings. So the variety is there. So I cannot say by force, the only thing that will make me happy is say, Otumba ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, Otumba is on his show. Let me invite my friends. So you can share the invite sent to you with your friends and family, because the good thing is there's value in my I'm going to give you values. I'm going to give you information. I'm going to reel out information, things that you will enjoy. So you say, oh, thank God, Otumba is he's a man. He's the outlet. He's the guy. He's the media guy for us. I love that. So love, like, share, and my subscriber level. Well, it's okay. It's rising up, but please do subscribe and get your friend to say subscribe to Otumba Who Latest channel. So like it also. Tonight, as I said, I have a guest. I mean, most of you must have seen him or know him before. He's a global analyst. He is someone who is, I think, is well endowed. I must say that he's well endowed. He knows his onions. He does so many things that I have no doubt in my mind that I'm very proud of him, that at least any information that he shares with you, that is information you really love. So without further ado, tonight let me bring in my guest, Segun Daniel. Yes, my guest, Segun Daniel, is joining me in the studio on this show.
Yeah.
Let's welcome Mr. Segun Daniel to the show.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, our viewers. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever part of the world you are. I'm happy to be on this show tonight, and I promise we're going to have a good deliberation. And we will employ those who can call in or message in or make a comment on this program, like and share, as well as subscribe to the program. Otuba, who latest shows had always been very exciting, very analytical, and top of the range of the current issues at discussed. So tonight, I can assure will not be a different.
Thank you. Thank you, Segun Daniel. And also, I try not to repeat certain issues, but there are certain issues that need to be repeated because the nature it carries and the kind of information we are talking about. Say, for example, why should I not continue to repeat the case of Tanolong? Tanolong, his case is taking too long. I mean, I know the wheel of justice sometimes can be very, very slow. It can be very, very slow, but it depends on who and who are holding brief for him, who and who are his lawyers and so on. But please, our own appeal on this channel is please expedite, do everything possible to get him to have freedom. The one thing that nobody can want to toy with is issue of freedom. Freedom is key, is very, very important. So we all know what it is to be not to not to have freedom. Uh, so again tonight, my guest will be Robin Mine. We'll be talking about on and about matters arising in is it three continents? I want to try and say we'll be talking about
Mhm.
Nigeria, and we'll be talking about Europe, we'll be talking about USA, and then again, typical of me, we'll be touching about Yoruba self-determination because it is one of my last aspiration, my last wish, the last thing I want to happen to me before I move on to the next level. So I want to see Yoruba nation. It might be the way other people are asking for this quest, for this might be different from the way but at the end of the day, I'm very happy to say we all looking for the same thing. We all want to achieve the same benefit. So uh, let's start with I'm going to mix it, but let me start with Europe. So because on Europe we are not going to delve too extensively. We just talk maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes and so on and so forth, and then we go on to the main area. Of course, the main focus of the show tonight is going to be Nigeria. Yeah. And please, those who want me to speak Yoruba, if Yoruba comes into, I'm sure a Yugoslavian or a Russian that listen to this, you say, what is Kilon Shele or what is Kilon So? They might be able to Google it. Yoruba has also gone nuclear. So you can Google some words you don't understand. Now, Mr. Segun Daniel,
Yes, sir.
as we speak, in Europe,
Yeah.
Ukraine, Ukraine. At first we thought it's going to be a war of 3 hours and 20 minutes, or at worst it's going to be a couple of days, or at most months. We've been on it now, February 2000 and
It's more than a year.
now. Wow. So what's going on in Ukraine, and what do you think an average Ukrainian will be saying to himself wherever he is? What do you think they'll be saying? And what are the impact on the global, what's the impact on the global economy, political, social, and so on and so forth? Can you, let's have your thought.
Okay. Thank you very much for bringing on this topic. I don't think I'll be able to do justice to it within the expected time you wanted to devote for it.
Yeah, because of some other
Anyway,
things.
it's an ongoing matter. I'll try to condense most of the issue into very, very small space and deliver it within that minute. Um, as of today, the only reliable information we have as regard what is going on or what is being prosecuted in terms of war or declaration of hostility in Ukraine have been information that is filtered to us from our Western media. And I find that a bit unsavory in the sense that we are denied the opportunity of knowing what exactly is the real position of Russia. We are meant or being forced or being coerced to accept what the media will tell us is the position of the media. I mean, of Russia. This war, the perception we have of it, because I think it's been majorly molded by perception. The perception that we have of it is Russia is a superpower country, so declaring a war against relatively big but not well-equipped country like Ukraine shouldn't have taken Russia more than maybe a week, month, or thereabout, or even a quarter, which is 3 months, to exhaustively put the battle or war to an end and close the chapter, deliver whatever they want to do there. But this has dragged on from months, from weeks to months, months to year, and we are where we are today. And it has affected the global economy. It has affected because between Russia and Ukraine, they delivered up to 70% of the world grain. That is, they are like the food basket of the world. So any conflict that has arisen between those two countries affects the delivery of these essential food products. So that has affected many countries. It has caused untold hardship because of scarcity of those grain. And secondly, Russia delivers energy to Europe in terms of gas. Our not having access to gas from Russia makes a spiral increase in the price of energy in Europe. Don't let us deceive ourselves. It is a fact. We are trying to move away from Russia gas, and that is what is giving us increment in our energy costs. We are saying we want to ditch Russia so that we can face other renewables, other import of gas from elsewhere in liquefied form, and these are coming at an high cost because Russia piped the gas to Europe, which is a cheaper way of transporting it, logistics. It's very cheap, it's easy, and it's delivered right on time. But if you have to import this gas from United States, far away, or from Kuwait, it's going to come in a liquefied form. We have to start re-engineering our system because it's not coming in the gaseous form. It's coming now in the liquefied form, which means we have to convert it back to gas before we feed it into the engine. Now, that's an extra cost. And the cost of logistics bringing it from those far distance countries is another cost. So these are the costs that we are experiencing. So our embracing the war in itself is embracing inflation. But I have argued and asked, what exactly is the price of peace? How much is the price of peace? Is winning Russia the price for us to pay, to put ourselves in excruciating economic situation? That's one. And two, is the life lost either in Russia or in Ukraine are the ultimate prices to be put on the slaughter so as we can feel happy? To me, the war wouldn't have started in any event if it is properly managed. But I believe it was not properly managed.
Okay.
It was managed by the ego and sentiment and whatever comes into it of certain leaders. You get it? Who have their agenda to deliver. Well, be it as it may, it has happened. It is still not too late for us to have a second look and said, why don't we find a solution? And one of the ways to me is we should stop. There should have to be a time to sit down and talk. And that part of that talking is we should stop harming Ukraine. Ukraine should see how it can save its people. There will be millions of Ukrainians out of the country. But nevertheless, why this had gone on to the West or to some of us, and I've seen many others who believe this, that it shows the weakness in Russia. But I have a second look at it. The fact that this war itself has dragged on will actually be part of the strategy for Russia. Because as long as Ukraine remain in the battle and this war. Ukraine will not achieve membership of NATO. Ukraine will not achieve membership of EU. So why are we not thinking that it's even in the interest, it's even in the plot, it's in the plan and scheme of Russia to make this war to drag on, even if for 20 years?
Okay. So I need to interrupt you, and because of time, I'm also we need to be conscious of that. There's some other thing. Knowing you, you might need another 1 hour, not repeating the same word. Which one thing I appreciate in you. Well, again, the good news is also there are elections in the neighboring countries like Slovakia, and also probability there's going to be another election in Poland and so on and so forth. Without you commenting, I just say that to our listeners all over the world that despite all the war in Ukraine, there's also Georgia in some other part of the country, and I agree. I want to share the same view with you that as the wartime Prime Minister of the UK. What is his name again? Churchill. When he said, there could be war, but then again, there should also be Georgia. It cannot be war without Georgia. Now,
Yeah.
let me quickly let's quickly take a flight to America. Again, please, people who are watching this program, help us share, like, love, and to get more people to see. Eventually, you can also see after the show, but do us that favor. In America, something happened that's very unique, very not common. Once in a blue moon, the speaker, the not even a blue moon, it has never happened.
Oh, I
The
thought you wanted to quickly mention Slovakia.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I've run a small commentary on it, and I believe and that's why I help you to to
okay, let me
summarize it.
quickly chip in. Let me quickly chip into it.
1 minute, because of time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There is a guy called Robert Fico in Slovakia.
Okay,
He's regarded as a pro-Russian. His party had actually won the majority vote in the parliamentary election, and it looks likely that he's going to form the new election and the new government. Though he did not have the majority total tally to form
not
a
absolutely,
government,
not absolutely.
he needs to go into partnership with some other
Okay,
parties, small parties. Some of them are actually pro-Russian too. And it's actually a details to EU right now, and the support that it will give to Ukraine, because it's showing the crack that there is likely going to be a crack in the EU position as regarding Ukraine. So again, there is a snow dive effect of it that is being smoked around uh, Poland, which is electorally very near as well. The pro-Russian group there too seems to be having a very, very, very good outing. So we keep our fingers crossed, and we don't know what will be the outcome of that. If that happens, then it's considering what is going on in the United States too, where the Republicans are actually asking that the Biden administration should put a brake on the financial support and all the other support that is being given to Ukraine, then we might see a dwindling and wearisome war that Ukraine wanted to pursue. This is not a good time.
okay.
And I bet it's just in the interest of everyone if there is a strategy to exit and started that peace negotiation.
Thank you very much. Again, I was about starting with leaving Europe now, going to America. Gradually, we're coming back to Nigeria. Now,
Okay, let's go to America.
yeah, let's quickly go to America
Yeah,
without
just
even
in country.
flying, without paying for flight.
Okay,
I'm also very interesting. The cost of flight. I think we're going to come there when we get to Nigeria. The matters
okay,
arising and so on and so forth. Because I also like to talk about Nigerian Airways when we get there.
okay.
Again, please help us share this show. It's a lovely show. Relax, Jalenke, quality information you can only get it from on this uh, 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 page. Are we on page or TV? Now, Segun Daniel,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
apart from the case of one something nothing or not, I think nothing, many years back, 18 something, that a speaker was almost got impeached, but they did not succeed. This
Yeah.
time around, it has happened.
History
McCarthy,
village.
yeah, the McCarthy speakership has been failed. He has been
Yeah.
reduced to rubbles. He's no more the speaker, and as we speak, the Congress, the most powerful Congress in the whole world, is not having a speaker, because when you look at the way American politics, and I only read it in the university for a period of time.
Mhm.
I'm not an expert on it, but very interesting to know about how their laws, their rules, their regulations is so. Sometimes you think it's flexible, but at the same time you might even think, how flexible can it be to make it possible that even if you go to prison or you break the law, still does not prevent it, does not prohibit. I mean, you're still not going to be stopped to be voted for, or to vote, or that kind of thing. The speaker now is gone, and now Wang started, his tongue started wanging that it might be Donald Trump. How is that going to happen? Tell us a little bit about American politics. Again, bearing in mind we cannot spend more than 3 minutes.
Okay. Well, it has happened now, so we are witness to history. It's never happened before. The
Yes.
closest it ever had was 1910. The issue in 1910, they did not succeed in uh, ousting the speaker, though he was majorly made weak. But in this case, Kevin McCarthy had been ousted. And I guess he knew it was coming. So he probably didn't take his tally properly, thinking it could be taken somehow, anyhow. But it was his trick. He knew, I would suggest that he knew what he was gunning for when he had a kind of a dinner with the devil. He was a good man, but his ambition, whether it's truly his ambition or his suggestion to be the speaker, took him to have a dive. He had to he had to enjoy um, some parley with the Republican group, which is funneled by Donald Trump, and lot of uh, concession were taken out of him for him to do certain things, and particularly to the whole time to the Biden government. These are dragged on, and with the House, it had not made a success of managing the governance of America in terms of legislation as well as the economy. Very, very resounding for Americans. So it has been a very hostile house. The recent one is when they were confronted with having to save the government from letting it to go to shutdown. And the core Republicans who are still Trump wanted it to happen, that the government should be shut down. This, I think, is what culminated in a eventual outing of McCarthy, because he felt maybe he put the country before any other primordial sentimental reason. That this cannot happen, this shouldn't happen. Why should we put the trust in the heart of the country? Just because some people are trying to settle some scores. That shouldn't happen. That's where the good man in him play out. And he made a bargain with him. Though he had to, I mean, the government had to concede a lot of positions, in which case they demanded that Ukraine would not be funded. If that is done, then we can pass the bill. And it is only going to be for 40 days so that it will be reviewed. That is what went through, saving American system not to come down for another 40 days. And this was the spike. This was what angered the Trump group, I want to believe. And then they plotted it ousting. No, it's gone. But like you said, we are seeing a very good revelation in terms of managing democracy. American system, I think there are a lot of omission in it rather than seeing it
Commission.
as, yeah, a troublesome or a not well dedicated legal framework. No, Those who framed the laws or the Constitution of America did not envisage these things happening. And so they were not preemptive about them or how to go. So now that is novel, it has happened. They are scampering for how to do it, how to get a new speaker in, and possibly when they settle, they might begin to look at how they will promulgate any law, pass a bill, forestalling such things happening. Or if such happens, how to manage it further. So that is the position they are right now. So it's a good man having a dinner with the devil, and eventually he lost garment. So,
Yeah, thank you. Again, so the issue of bringing in the former president to become
yeah,
the
pardon
speaker,
me. I didn't.
these are
Yes,
speculations, I
that's
believe.
another lacuna, that's another gray area there. That you don't naturally or you don't have to be uh, an elected representative in the House to be the speaker. The position of that stool, that office, does not require you, though they feel that any outsider that comes in is not likely to enjoy the support of members who will vote for him. Do you
Mm,
get it? So that's
yeah.
why successively it had always been members, representative congressmen in the House that will come up as candidates. So there had never been any time such had happened. But there is no provision that only members can vie for that position. No. So in which case the suggestion has come that, okay, why not put Trump himself up as a candidate? And I would not be surprised if that happened. And the Republicans vote for him. Though there are certain quarters that claim that Republicans are actually divided down the line. So you might not really get the votes to put him there.
Well,
But it's still worth the try.
yeah. Well, again, like we said, it's a game of it's all speculation,
Yeah,
speculation, speculation. Now, the other aspect of it is we might need to let our viewers hear about this. The possibility that, despite the list of fraudulent and civil cases against him, that he has not won any of them, that he might still become the next president. I mean, again, we can only
okay.
speculate. So
Yeah,
it still can be seen as a lacuna in the structure of the uh, American laws, because otherwise I find it difficult to believe that once your name is linked to stealing something, Igbado or anything in Nigeria, you are gone. Even those who have not been linked, who have not been officially convicted, people still want to use that weapon. They still want to use that argument to slow you down, not to be anything. Now, well, maybe just quickly, just
yeah.
again,
Let me quickly make a comment about that.
yeah, because
I
of time again, yeah.
Yeah, I can just figure out that what is playing out in America today. I said earlier, is majorly an omission in the legal system. But I can imagine if such is happening in Nigeria, the the heat up in the polity that will have happened, the chaos, the crisis that it will have generated, that somebody who is going on trial. I mean, we had in Nigeria people who even claim that, oh, somebody has been picked up by EFCC, this and that, and they are contesting, and it's an issue for us. But here is somebody who is crystal clear he might even end up in jail,
Yes,
and he's still riding high on the pole.
on the opinion poll.
And it's very clear that nothing can stop his contesting the election. Yeah, he might have his candidacy in the Republican, that it might even be automatic nearly. And he will have no laws that can stop him, even if he's thrown in jail before the election, not to contest. If that happens in Nigeria, it's a crisis. We can see Nigerian politicians are taking a voyage to US to go and secure documents who want to try their own president. And in the same country, United States, we have a most likely jailbird going to contest an election. You get it? The likely candidate that will go to jail is a fitting candidate for an election. So
Well,
I mean, it's a paradox. So that's the thing, that the America that we look up to and say, oh, the beacon of democracy, and that is going on. But
yeah,
that tells you that people are bringing maturity and understanding of the law, of the system. It might put them in an uncomfortable situation, which eventually might make the Congress, the Senate, and all the legislature to look again at it and may come up with a guidance law and act on how to properly do this thing. But it had not surprised any politician in America that Trump can actually be a candidate, and if possible, can actually win, in spite of him either found guilty and being thrown into jail by court in America. You get it? It has not come as a surprise. But they are all saying that, well, this is a constitutional challenge. But if it happens, it happens. You get, that's people who are not saying it is moral. They understand the position of the law than being carried away by emotions and their morality.
well,
I hope my listeners are understand
yeah,
are getting clear with it.
I
Yeah,
hope so, and I understand.
they understand the position of the law, that the law have not captured this. And so moral does not come into it. Neither their emotions will affect anything. If he wins, he wins. You get it? Even while he will be in jail. So if he wins, he wins. Nobody is gonna die. They rig it for him. Oh, you know somebody. He needs that. No. If he wins, he wins. I hope we Nigerians can understand that. Just like I said, the expedition to America for discovery made by Turaki Adama Waziri Atiku. In America, he has collected mammoth number of heavy documents now, which he wanted to come and bring to Nigeria and
We,
give to. If our Supreme Court said, you know what, by
we are
limitation.
going to come to that. We are going to come to that. Sorry to
Okay,
interrupt you. We are going to
okay,
come
okay.
to that. We are going to come to that. But then again, I quickly just want to add to these that we have somebody who has been convicted, and then he's still enjoying the buoyancy of office of governorship. We have a case of Ogun State now, where the tribunal to challenge his re-election, that three major grounds was sorted, and one of them was like, here is someone who openly admitted that, oh yes, he was jailed in Florida, I don't know, whatever, somewhere in America. But then again, I don't want us to spend too much time because
Even, let me quickly say something about it. That's what I said earlier about not bringing emotions or sentiment uh, or whatever have you, moral into this matter. Even if the candidates have said that much, he was convicted. That's if it ever happened. I'm not sure. Let's concede that he actually said that statement that, oh, I'm a convict in the United States or in Russia or in Canada or wherever. You get it? That is a foreign jurisdiction. Has that conviction been brought within the judicial legal framework jurisprudence of Nigeria? Yes, because that might not be. That conviction still remain within foreign jurisdiction. Has anybody integrated that ruling into the purview of the Nigerian judicial system? That
we will
our
come.
court take a legal consent of that position. So if you heard by hearsay or by knowing or by his own statement, it does not mean you will carry that statement and come before the court. Do you get
All
what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if eventually people are going in the street and say, hey, see, he's a coming, he did blah blah blah. They took him to court because they I don't know about that judgment, blah, that he has given them money. That's how we do things.
All
You're
right.
right. It is sure.
Yeah. Yes, we're just now coming to the second major part of this show, which I'm sure large number of people will start coming in now. Please tell your friends and family we are landing at Ikeja, Muritala Muhammad. No, no, you cannot be Muritala Muhammad. You have to be Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport. We are going now to Abuja, and then we might be touching some areas in the Shugule area or whatever, because we are now about talking about Nigeria, and then when we finish with Nigeria, I'm sure we're still going to have some time to talk about Yoruba self-determination movement. In particular, we'll be looking at the how best to support Chief Sunday Igboho. What do we need to do? How we need to structure yeah, we're not holding a brief for him, but how we need to let the world know, let the people of Nigeria, especially the Yoruba people, know that this is the way forward. That a way that there's no alternative to it than to go it that way. Asking for another method or whatever might be, looking for this. But it's okay when we get there. Now, back now in Nigeria, the ongoing matters arising on and about Nigeria, the trending it matters, it's about our president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the issue of Chicago State University diploma here, degree there, saga brings our followers, I mean our viewers, the latest about now that somebody has succeeded in getting the script, the lost the information he sorted for. But of what is he going? What can this particular person? What can he do? Judging that the all the matter, he cannot use it in his bedroom. He will have to take it to a court of law, and the court of law, as we speak, can only be the Supreme Court, because we've gone past the appeal court, the high court, and so on. So we're about going to Supreme Court, and I'm aware that two parties, they've already filed that they've already filed and given
Yeah,
brief to, yeah, that they want to go to Supreme Court. Now, tell our viewers what benefit, what advantage, what effect is Adamawa, former leader or whatever, has gotten, what is he going to get for all what he has gotten from Chicago?
well, it's only Turaki Adamawa that will say what exactly is in his mind for this expenditure that he has done, because he's actually spent a lot of money trying to get all these documents. Now he has gotten it, and to all who probably to permutate and speculate, and I'm one of them, we will say that he might wanted to use it at the Supreme Court. And I believe that his counsel, his legal team, will give him a very good and sound advice on the possibility of the admissibility of those documents and the position of the law, particularly regarding its appeal. Um, we should remember that Turaki Adamawa, that's Ladi Atiku Abubakar, as well as Peter Obi, lost at the election petition tribunal, which gave a ruling in favor of the substantial um, uh, election, giving victory to Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu as president of Nigeria. That made them to challenge that decision, and then they proceeded to the Supreme Court. And I want to remind them, because a lot of people have said so many things, including learned uh, people who have said so many things about the likely admissibility of the new documents that I wouldn't say evidence. I rather think they are just mere documents. So, but you can't take it to court if it's not, let me quote and unquote, it will be regarded as evidence. Now, The truth is, they should be able. Election matters are sui generis. They are a special case on their own. They are not like the ordinary court judicial structure system, where if you have a judgment in the high court, you appeal, you go to the appeal court, you have your issues talked about there and all that. If you're still not satisfied with the decision there, you can still step it up and go to the Supreme Court. This might take years, months, and or what have you. In some cases, even decades that is sitting through. But because of this peculiar, special nature of the election petition, they are time bound. They are time bound. If this matter had been in ordinary court, possibly at the time it's being tried out at that early court itself, maybe high court, Atiku Abubakar should have taken time to go and voyage for this discovery and bring it to the same court. Do you get it? But because the election petition tribunal is time bound, you see, before he got all these documents, the tribunal itself has given judgment that Tinubu won the election. So even at the tribunal where he's supposed to have submitted it, he was unable to do so because of the time limit of that tribunal, that he can only see it within 180 days, take all the position and come to a conclusion, give his verdict. So if Atiku had gone, if it has taken him another 12 months to get all these documents, he wouldn't have met, and it's the same. The Supreme Court, unlike when he will listen to any other appeal that comes there, maybe the appeal has been on for 5 years, it has a time bound to listen to this too. Secondly, the Supreme Court is not necessarily a court of evidence. It's a court of quality. The essence is a very simple dictate. We should all know this. The essence of an appeal is, I have argued my situation. It's a review. I have argued my situation at this court. And this court taking its decision is valid and not acceptable to me because the court must have heard, either by oversight, omission, or commission in any way, that probably they did not take a closer scrutiny look at the evidence that I provide or made available, or this and that to that court. That is what is called appeal. That court in itself did not take good look or cognizance of certain things and made a mistake. That is what you are reporting in appeal. That this other higher court should take a second look at what that lower court did and then remedy. But here, we are talking of evidence that you did not present to the electoral petition tribunal, that they did not take a look at it, and you are telling Supreme Court they made a mistake, that this is the evidence. How could you have said that they made a mistake, or they made a wrong judgment, or they come to a wrong verdict, when that evidence was not available to them? How does that support the argument for appeal? Yes, because you are presenting a new evidence that court did not see. That court, and you are claiming, must have heard. That's why you are appealing. So how can you are simply saying the Supreme Court should give a knock to that court when it has judiciously dealt with the matter based on what was before it?
Okay.
And some people are saying that Supreme Court will admit such evidence. No, I don't think so. And yes, by order too, the Supreme Court said that for a compelling reason, and that reason must indeed be very, very compelling, for them to admit new evidence into their review. Because in most cases, if it is a normal judicial process, if such new evidence comes, you can go to a retrial. That's what the first court, where you argue your case, because I did not present it to them, I'm instituting a new trial, and you put that evidence there. Because you will not have said that that court made a mistake then, because that court did rule according to what was before it. But now you are bringing a new evidence to a new court so
Well,
that they can look at it all together and then deliver on it. But in this case, electoral, I say, is too generous. You cannot go back to start the tribunal again.
right.
You cannot. So
It,
that's why the Supreme Court, even with the use of the other two, that is, where you can accept new evidence. Atiku, with his document from court in Chicago, cannot run down to the Supreme Court and just deliver it on our Lord Justice's table. And
I'm
said,
pushing
those
down their throat.
yes, and those are the minute facts that just chuck it in. No, it's not possible. There are procedures for it to be admissible into Nigeria judicial legal system.
And that might take a
And
long
that
time.
is time taking, I can bet you.
Okay. All right.
That will, before it even gets there, the Supreme Court must have concluded this case.
Okay. All right.
Because, like I said, it's time bound. What the Supreme Court wants to do with the election is time bound. So they must obey that, which is very, very fundamental. They cannot say, okay, we know something is coming, let us wait. No, they will be breaking the law.
Okay. Thank you very much for this insight. Now, I'm also want to talk about the present situation in the country. I'm aware, and I get calls from people from different part of the country saying things are hard, things are very hard. The starting from the idea of removing the subsidy, price has gone up, price of everything has gone up, and now October 1st, the Independent Day of Nigeria, uh, turning to 63. The presidential address of the nation to the people of Nigeria, that is going to put some sweet on the yogurt or whatever it is. 10,000. Many people will appreciate that this 10,000 might bring not enough succor, because when you look at how much the price of foodstuffs and some other things are, you might think this is not enough. Adding to, but people will also appreciate that they may not appreciate that it's not the more money the government or president asked Minister of Finance to add to salary that is better for them. In fact, it might be better for the president to even to reduce, but then to make sure that the value of what they have in their pocket, the purchasing value, uh, outstrip the presence of stuffs. I mean, the food stuff and some other thing. You as an economist also, can you tell us the advantage and disadvantage of this 10,000 naira?
uh, the Pardon me. The Well, I don't know if there is any advantage, and there is every disadvantage, but the disadvantage itself too can be properly managed. Unfortunately, I am presently or currently in the United Kingdom. I cannot test the effect. Ordinarily, the only effect the 10,000 can bring into the economic system is inflation, because the news of that award is to jack up the price of every goods and services, to which is near inflation. There's more money in the circulation, and then chasing the same quantity of goods and services, which means there's likely going to be a scarcity of it, and then the price will be for whoever can pay. So that is theoretically. So, but then, if the announcement is properly managed and the distribution of the 10,000 is properly managed, that it does not become a fanfare. But I've seen on the TV how the palliative and all that has become a jamboree and a fanfare. I don't see how that will not affect the price. And two, There are there is a terrible economic uh, deployment of economic strategies and economic ideas going on in Nigeria. This so-called palliative, the government said we are going to give the state 5 billion naira, the federal government, and then they released 2 billion. And the state went, that was a big announcement. And the state went to the market and started buying rice, tuber of yam, yam, whatever, all food, making food itself become scarce, which will jack up the price. I don't get it. It is the money. That means we are pumping so much money in the economy, chasing very few goods and services. So the 2 billion was not actually, goods and services that are already in the strategic reserve. If they are releasing food from the strategic reserve, that makes sense. But if you take the money, you go to the market where somebody has been buying Congo of rice, you get it for 40, maybe 4,000 naira. And the state government now come with their overloaded money, which the bureaucracy in the system itself will tell the government that we actually buy it for 12,000 because they will mount up prices on it. But when you get to the market, the price will no longer be 4,000. It will actually be 6 or 8. That means ordinary people will no longer be able to buy.
Okay.
They're taking so much money to chase these goods. And that will cause parallel inflation. It's not for them to be chasing the same goods that are available, that the people cannot even afford, with also money of the government. That is not the way to fix it. That's a double jeopardy.
When you say things like this,
No, the something is,
I
a
want to
lot of
ask,
people,
what are the advisors? What are
pardon
the
me,
economic advisors doing?
I don't know. One of, you see, people just wake up and said, I only 3 days ago, yeah, I think so. Somebody called me from Nigeria. I said, a bag of rice is 45,000. It's like she's telling me that they woke up and suddenly, that is it. That's what people are experiencing. But because a lot of Nigerians do not understand these linkages, the intricacies, and the details, they do not understand. You get it? This is what is called, is the government itself that is fueling it. And I don't know who are those that are delivering this advice. And the decision makers are following through and doing it. Pardon me, sir. So, and they're doing it, and the consequences is blaring at their faces. This is economic turn upside down. They should know this. They should know. It's the common sense that if you keep throwing money at very little thing, you cannot keep the price there. I have argued before that the problem with Nigeria's economic system, particularly for the most downtrodden people, is price. And there are ways you can manage price. It could be draconian, but it is worth the price. It's not that foods and services are not available in Nigeria. They are. They are available in limited quantity.
That's it.
Yes, if you want a goat meat, you will find, but you might not be able to afford it. If you want rice, there's nothing that you want in Nigeria that you cannot find. The only thing is the price might not be affordable for you. So we should know that the problem of the economy is pricing. But how do you tame pricing, which is inflation? How do you tame it? Because there are a lot of factors that worked into it. There's the monetary policy factors. There are fiscal policy factors that works into it. If you try to tame it in one way, you could end up expanding it on the other. So you must have a very good and holistic view of it. That while you are seizing it here, you should be able to tame it at the other hand as well. You get it? And I think Nigeria is not in debt of economists. Who should understand? These are simple economic principles, not so much details, but you need the details, yes, but not so much for you to first know that this should be the direction of the policy. Then you bring in the tools to do it. If I have to start initiating those tools now, it might take some time, but you said we have limited time. But for instance, those who are managing the economy right now begin to look in that direction. If they are economists, they should know. Though economics in itself is not a fundamental where you can say this is precisely what should be. No, because the content of economics policy is you are dealing with human behavior.
Yes.
Which sometimes could be irrational, sometimes could be rational, sometimes could be predictable, sometimes are not predictable. So those are the weakness in economics. So for those who are very, very grounded in it, you deploy certain tools, economics framework that you can monitor, you can manage, and once you see it deviating, you can provide alternative route to how you manage it. Yes, for instance, the foreign exchange market management. I don't see why Nigeria is in the business of trying to shore up foreign exchange and all that. Two, our major thing that will give us this foreign exchange is production. We need to produce. One of the things that give us income is crude oil. And now we are dealing with theft in the crude oil on a large scale never seen before. Yes. Now we have seen, that means that in itself is a hole in the treasury. And that is what will guarantee the foreign exchange that we need. But mind you, let's call ourselves. What do we actually need foreign exchange for? If Nigeria is sufficient in food production, should we be putting our foreign exchange for people to go and buy burger and pizza from abroad?
Toothpick.
And toothpick. Yes. That is terrible. Yes, when we have automobile industry that could be galvanized in Nigeria, why do we have to keep pouring out our foreign exchange to get Toyota, to get BMW, to get Chrysler, to get all manners of car? No.
Well,
unless we are able to bring the managers of Nigeria economy begin to bring our mind. We begin to renew their mind and said, you know what? All these foreign branded vehicles that we are buying for 300 million for some mind-blowing prices. Because it is when they convert it to Naira that it becomes mind-blowing. Indeed, they are mind-blowing in terms of foreign exchange that they use too, because they will have to buy it at maybe 270,000 pounds sterling, 300,000 pounds sterling.
Can you imagine?
Yes. So it's terrible. But if we have a government that said, you know what, let the manufacturer of vehicle in Inewi be the major supplier of all federal government and state government vehicles. There were times in Nigeria when Pojo was the official government vehicle. There was nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong. Even at that, the Pojo was only being assembled. Not that we had the technology. Then, it was just they would bring all the parts and assemble it here.
The
in
knockdowns.
Nigeria then. Yes, but it was still a, what is it called? A factor input that Nigerians were employed in those plants, that Nigerians were knowing how to do it. And when they come to repair, you don't need to take it back to France. The pan is there in Kaduna that you can do so. In fact, you don't even need to take it to pan in Kaduna, because pan have trained several Nigerians automobile engineers that could, technicians that can handle it.
Yes.
And yes, and certify them
But
that if you buy produce, you
yes.
can repair it in Lagos, in Kuje, wherever. And that means local money, local economy.
Right.
But now we even have Nigerians who are not assembly, but they are them putting a local content, every local content in the production of automobile. Why can't we do that?
And also, I'm aware, I also know very well that there are individuals who have done so much in maintaining the any vehicle that gets to Nigeria. They are trained people to the same class as you find mechanics in Germany, in Japan, in London, and so on and so forth, who will fix cars. That is
Yes.
the group of the automedics, whom you and I know very well. Now, because of time, there's one area that is a little bit moribund. It's been an issue. It's been a problem for most of us. For those Nigerians, especially those who travel regularly, and they're now having to deal with a huge amount of money to buy Lagos London return. For example, I remember that when I was have to bring my ex-wife, my first wife, with the two children we have then back to the UK. First class was 2,800. That was around,
Naira.
that was around 82. And,
You need
and
naira,
me,
2,800 naira.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, what a golden age.
I remember that very well. Uh, that was the time when the like of the Abiolas were only
That
enjoying
was the
first class.
golden age of Nigeria.
Yes. So now this moribund issue is where people are saying to me, "Oh, Otumba, guess what? To go to Nigeria now, you need £2,000 roughly." And I said, "Hello. How many people will I be taking along with me?" He said, "You and only 23 kilo of luggage." In between, I now realize that hang on a minute, what has happened to the our local, our own airline?
Airline,
Can you
flag
please?
bearer.
Yes, again, like I said, because of time, because we need to round up by another 20 something minutes, and I still have to talk about it. Just in 5 minutes, I want to give you extensively 5 minutes to deal with why are we not having our national line? Is it because inability? Is it because we don't have the capacity? Is it because we don't know what to do?
Okay, like you said, quickly. It's desirable for us to have our own national carrier, but I will not argue for Nigeria having a national carrier because of the peculiarity of our Nigerian people and ownership structure of government. I would suggest, as many developed countries have done, that we can manage a private owned airline company and make it a national carrier for Nigeria, not the flag carrier, the national carrier, that it is going to operate having a hub in any airport in Nigeria. Could be Abuja, could be Lagos, could be Amino Kano. Yes. And it will be a dominant airline that will operate with the fleet and support of Nigerian government. But it will be privately owned, and Nigerian government can have a stake in it. I said this because I don't know of any business at Jakarta, even the NNPC petrochemical company, oil and gas company and all that, that had been properly managed by government. None. Nigerian Railway Corporation, zero. Name it. Nigerian Ocean Line, no, zero. Because of bureaucracy. Two, we are talking of mega project business that runs into billions, if not trillions. But because they are being managed by civil servants who feel it's all about taking stakes, taking it. I mean, we are talking of commercially viable businesses that are being run like a state enterprise that needed subvention all year. In fact, all-time life round. You get it?
Yeah.
I said, if you have, that's what ran Nigeria Airways at ground anyway. It was not run like a commercial business.
Some
Nigeria
like
Airways,
British Airways, Lufthansa,
yes.
KLM.
No, not like those ones. Nigerian Airways will always go cap in hand every year, taking their budget to government to be included in the annual budget and taking the subvention once that budget is approved, as if it is not a business that's supposed to be making profit, and use its profit and its what's it called, its equity to run the business. No, they will go back to that and take every year. They are planning, they are plotting, they are drafting, they are making their budget that they want to submit. So whether the business make money or it doesn't, and that's why you have all manners of people, the military, the judiciary, the legislature, the anger horns of all those people, and they are hate. Who go to Nigeria Airways and wants to take ticket for free. Oh, Senator, the head of this Senate committee is going with his family to France next week. DG Nigeria Airways, we want 12 tickets. Yes, he must provide it. If not, they will cook a way of how to get him out.
Yeah, but if the law is in place,
Oh,
if
yes.
the law is in place that this is a private enterprise, you cannot do that.
But because he himself is not running it as such, he feels comfortable taking the budget because he's going before them, before the year runs out, to defend that budget. So he will do their bidding. But if he's not taking such budget, then he can stand his ground. And that's why he cannot stand his ground. He wants his budget to be approved. He cannot stand his ground. He's ab initio. He is not running it. So which law does he want to prove? He's not running it as a business enterprise. Yes. He's completely bereft of those ideas. He's always thinking, is my budget department, have you prepared all? Yes. I don't want them to give me sweat this time. You need to get it quickly there so that they can approve. Have you seen Senator this? Have you seen a member this or that and all that? Because, those members in the House committee, this. Yeah, that's his own plot too, his own plan, his own ideas. And so appeal to, there is a law. And like I said, we kind of take things around personality rather than institution. So that's my argument. It just can't work. Not with many people will say so, Nigerian factor. And it's indeed Nigerian factor. With the way the governance is arranged, it is impossible. Like I said, and I said again, it is desirable, but it is not possible. It's perfectly impossible, but we can have something that is likened to it, that will give us respect. If you have a company like that, Peace Airways, Arik Airways, or Bellevue of those times and all, if they enjoy government support, like they do in Europe, yes, if they enjoy, and government have a stake in their business, that means Nigerian government is having yearly a returns on their investment there that is being put back to the treasury.
Is it not safe to say that this is the same problem other services like?
But those who will make it, those that if they put the business in the hand of government, they will be enjoying the largesse of having a free flight and all that. So they will not want to consider this private initiative. That's a debacle.
But it's the same thing with the problem
But
of energy.
it takes
That is
leaders
the
who have
problem with
balls.
power.
It takes,
Water.
yeah, it takes the leader who has that gut, who can see, who is listening now, like you and I is talking, who is listening now and say, wait a minute, should I continue pouring water in this basket? Because as the president, he's not going to be the manager of Nigeria Airways, but he's going to be the decision maker in making it happen. And if he knows that creating another Nigeria Airways is a pothole, there is a basket that you keep pouring money, pouring water in, and it's not going to stop. It's going to be draining away. He will have a rethink and said, oh, maybe I shouldn't go this route, no matter how they present it to me. I can imagine what this Ereka told his, I don't know whether how it's related to Buhari. And he got away with that charade, going to go and hire an airplane, branded it, in fact, is it branded or just paint it in the color of Nigerian flag, and then come and showcase it to Nigeria and ask them to quickly return. Anyway, there are so many things that are happening in Nigeria politics.
Yes. Well, as you know,
Sometimes
let me
they
let me
shock
now
anybody.
let me go to the very last part of this show, which is being an area you and I really really love to be.
Let me quickly add again that you mentioned about the pricing of tickets.
Yeah.
Yes, that came because of the problem, and that's why I said when you're looking at the economic, you must look at all the intricacies involved in it. The foreign airlines complained severally during Buhari administration that they were unable to repatriate their money. That means Nigerians were buying tickets from them, paying in naira. Do you get it? Because Nigeria is a sovereignty, you cannot suddenly be saying goods and services in Nigeria must be paid for in foreign. Nigeria is not a dollarized economy, though, though we seem to be moving in that direction. That will mean that Nigerian currency will no longer become legal tender. So Nigerians were buying tickets from this foreign airline with naira, which is their legal, currency. But when they amassed those naira and take it to central bank and said, because we are foreign companies, we need to repatriate our money. Give
Yes.
us dollar that we can take. Central bank does not have the dollar. So they cannot take their money. And then they gradually warning that this is going to disrupt our business. This is because it's like we have money stocked outside of our system. And then when there was no meaningful solution to it, what they did was to convert Nigerian passengers to buying tickets in foreign currency. So they opened a window that your ticket, the only thing is they will convert that dollar to, that's why you have to pay high sum of money.
So you have to buy in dollars and pound
Yes,
sterling.
yes.
And you can't blame them.
Yes. So we suddenly see a skyrocketing price of airfare. And that's why I said, when they are looking at it, this is about pricing too. When they are looking at it, one of the factors there now is management of the forex market. Do you see? So those are the details that come into this, that even if you want to impose what the likes of Idiagbon did then, which was price control, that's a very draconian, but it's workable. But you must have your eyes, even if you are using spectacle, wide open, so that you see the loopholes that could happen there, and then you can capture it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, because of the time that we have, I also want to suggest to people who are
Pardon.
watching this program, the last 10 minutes, I will tell you, you can call in to ask a question or make a contribution. And the number to call is +44 738 465 054. Let me repeat: +44 738 465 054. You can call in and ask a question. You can ask my guest one or two questions. You can also contribute. And I also take time to read the comments here. Please, you can also send your comment if you are not comfortable by calling in. You can send your comments and then we can read it. I want to appreciate everybody. Then this very last part, the part of this show is about um, a group of people, people that make, I mean, group of people that make Nigeria, where you are, Yoruba people. Uh, to my understanding and the understanding of many people, it's been said, it's been carried all over the world that we are the most educated, we are the most civilized, we are the most of everything. You know? But then again, this question keeps coming up that sorry, we have now want to use our powers of knowledge of this, knowledge of that, to want it that believing that we are better off if we have our own nation. You and I have been through this. I will continue to bring, like I said, if I only have 30 minutes to do a program, the last 10 minutes will be dedicated to, because that's my contribution, because that's my belief, that's my passion. That's exactly, I pray that before I move beyond whatever, that I see Yoruba nation, that I now, where possible, go back to Yoruba nation. I know the geography of Yoruba nation. I know where Yoruba nation is going to be. It's still going to be the southwest location of Nigeria. So, in your consideration, I want people to understand that as long as we are not going to move that geographical structure to Benin, I mean, sorry, to the Republic of Benin or to somewhere else, that is still going to be there, doesn't it make sense to know and do exactly what we need to do and do it nicely? I want you to take this on also, because like I said, I have 10 minutes thereafter your presentation to get people to call in so they can contribute. All I'm saying here is, I have said it and I will continue to repeat that I'm not too sure whether we are following the process and procedure of wanting to get Nigeria out of, I mean, Yoruba out of Nigeria. What say you if we still have a situation that we only been doing a talking and talking and talking? It's a talk shop, but we are not making the proper whatever. The whole world, it has been said, America knows about it, Germany know about it, everywhere know about it. And for me, as a student of political science and a social activist, political commentator, I still ask myself the question: why are we not going through the why are we not going through the proper route? A good example is if you have headache and you go to a doctor in Germany, and every doctor will say, well, look, they want to find out the cause of that headache. They might end up that maybe a boil somewhere in part of your body that is sending signal to your system, and your brains is now giving you that tension. So the point I'm making here is, Mr. Segun Daniel, that I'm still believing that we supposed to have taken a route. Why do you think we're not taking that route? Let's start from there.
Well, I think the reason can only be mischievous or lack of knowledge of what to do. That's being technically ignorant of it. And lastly, uh, just clamoring for whatever they think will deliver it. That's just like many Nigerians will say, God will see us through. They just feel it will happen, it will fall in line, it will just fall in their laps somehow, and all that. I think that is what is lacking. Proper articulation of what we have, what we want, how to get it, and how to deliver it. I think that is what is lacking. That proper coordination, proper articulation, proper uh, arrangement to get. And this is not rocket science. It's not difficult. You made allusion to something now, which is very, very coded. Even if suddenly, like many feel that it will just happen. Let's say it even just happened, maybe acrimoniously, by those trouble here and there, violence, unrest, and all that. Suddenly, Nigeria broke up. Are we articulating that we have an unfriendly foe? I mean, an unfriendly partner.
Neighbors.
Yes, neighbors all around us. Does that speak well for an independence that we want? The independent that after 2 or 3 years we might plunge into plunge into war with our neighbor? Yes.
A la Sudan.
Sudan is even a classical case, but that one is even worse because they are not even worrying with where they started. They are worrying within themselves, and they have killed more than enough of themselves. It's crazy. So we are not sitting down to look at what we want to deliver, how to manage going forward. If that had been part of the thought, and I think we will have come up with a better strategy. And you and I have at several fora mentioned this, that there is a way out of all this. A way that needs pursuance, a way that needs commitment, that needs understanding. But even when you preach it to many, they seem to be feeling so defeatist. They seem to be feeling so lukewarm, lackadaisical. They feel that it's unachievable through that way. And yet, when you ask them, how do you go about it? They said, well, we will get. I mean, these are people who cannot even profess to a particular strategy on achieving this. Yet, when you come up with how to, they suddenly feel, no, it's unachievable that way. And you know what they will say? They are on Igba Funwa. They will started the rhetorics of our problem. It started with the colonialists, the imperial masters. That is, they are our enemy. But suddenly, those enemies transform into Hausa Fulanis. That in fact, they kind of transform, because it is the colonialists that just hand them power and said, yeah, it's you people that should be ruling, and so you must dominate them and all that. So our enemy has transformed from the colonial to the. And I ask myself, if you have identified those enemies and you have seen what they are doing for 60 years or more, and you are the most brilliant, the most intelligent, the most educated, you give yourself all manners of adjectives to describe your superiority. But you, in practice, you show that you are the one that is stupid enough to be dominated by the mumu, by the so-called ones that you believe are inferior. Then your intelligence must have a question mark. That how do you arrogate to yourself these senses, these powers, this knowledge, this wisdom, that you are unable to deal with somebody who you consider to be inferior to yourself?
Are you saying despite all the professors we have, all the
Yes.
PhD holders,
Yes.
masters?
I mean, how can a PhD holder or a professor said, you know what, my problem has been, it is the primary school holder that is controlling me, and I can't do anything about it. You can imagine, I'm so knowledgeable, I know everything, I've done so much research, in fact, I have so many endowment shares that is well funded for my research. Well, it is all these secondary school holders that dictate what I can do. I'm helpless. What is his knowledge? What is his intelligence? Of what use is it to him that he will consider that he's good, he's exposed, is this, is that, and he cannot deal with that little problem?
All right. Time. Mr. Daniel, I think.
It comes into question. And yeah, we have said that, because I will not miss that point here, that request for nationhood, Yoruba nation, is a political question and can only be addressed in the political sphere. Whether for those who are probably clamoring or somehow in the brain of their brain, in somewhere obscure in their mentality, that we can fight our way through it. Even if we engage in violent way to get it, we must still come to the table to resolve it politically. Yes, that is what it will end it. So why not take that route now? Why don't we take that route now? Instead of planning or thinking that we must shed blood for it. For those who probably did not know and do not go to the camp of shedding blood, violence with, who are pursuing what is it called? Ajaladi travel, who are going from one institution, one organization to the other, thinking the resolution to finding Yoruba nation is in the hand of United States, is in the hand of court in England, is in the hand of United Nations, is in the hand of G20, is in the hand of OAU, is in the hand of, that they are pleading and making cases here and there. That is sojourn to nothing. No amount of United Nations, OAU, all of them combined, including Russia and America, can bring out Yoruba nation out of Nigeria. Only Georgia discussion with Nigerian state can do that. Appealing to those could be an influence on Nigeria to come to that table. Yes, I don't want to rule it out entirely. Appealing to them could be to put a pressure to let Nigerians understand that it is better in their interest to have that discussion. But the discussion has to be with the Nigerian state, which is a political resolution. And how do you do that? You must have a voice in Nigerian legislative house, because that is where you can move such motion. That is where you can debate such matter. That is where you can table it. Yes.
And then in the process, we can now do more to enhance the issue of political awareness.
Yes. And to put a caveat to it, I have said two things. If the campaigner for I am inclusive for Yoruba Nation actually canvass to have 2, 3, or 4 senators, 2, 3, or 4 House of Reps members that cut across the state in the Western Nigeria. And those people go, number 8, they got to the National Assembly and moved that motion. I'm telling you, population of the Western Nigeria, let's say conservatively, is 60 million. If 20 million Nigerians are agitators, not campaigners, their voices cannot be heard as much as those 8. The influence those 8 will have on the sovereignty of the nation, of the government of Nigeria, 20 million campaigners, 20 million agitators in West Nigeria cannot have such impact. I'm telling you.
And the president will also hear about it officially.
Of course. Even the so-called United Nations we are running into and all that, the world press will take it and run with it. Yes. So why don't we motivate ourselves and do what is needful? Have our people there. If the current ones cannot do our bidding, then we must begin to strategize how to change them.
All right. Thank you.
But it is not wrong. It is not wrong for any of them to say, well, I don't share those ideas. It is not wrong. It is not wrong. They are at liberty. It's their fundamental right. They are at liberty. But even while they are sitting, we can recall them and have another election before the expiration of their term.
Yes.
And have another election to replace them.
That part of your argument, that part of your consideration, majority, I want to put it in majority, because if they are not in majority, all these things will have been another story, are still believing that because their hands are soiled, their legs are whatever, they are into making money, and because of that, they are going to be very difficult, unwilling. We having problems to make unwilling partnership with them, and I have always argued at different fora that that cannot be so. But please do not respond to that. I've just said that in addition because of time. I have 10 minutes to spend to play with now. If anybody wants to call in, please feel free. If you want to add more to the, you want to send in your comment, feel free to do so. Then finally, I have also chosen to use anytime I appear on my own show to speak for well, for one of formidable leader in the Yoruba campaign group, self-determination, is Chief Sunday Igboho. Chief Sunday Igboho, like millions of people are aware or know, that he's still in exile. Now, you as a legal expert, can you please guide us? Tell us, what does he need to go? What does he need to do to go back to his home country?
Well, this a matter to have discussed it severally in different fora as well. And my position has been one: I'm not holding brief for Chief Sunday Igboho because I do not know if he desires to go back to Nigeria. And that is predicated on the fact that Nigerian government during the Buhari administration wanted to enforce its extradition from Benin Republic back to Nigeria, which is vehemently resisted. And so today he is living in Benin Republic. Two, so if it is but because we are human beings, we are at liberty to change. I mean, circumstances change. Even if just because that administration has moved away and there is a new one, there could be a desire on his part, which is genuine. You want to return to his home country, which is genuine. Very good. Yes. But if there are debacles, if there are constraints that are there for him to return, this is what I observed. One, currently, and I stand to be challenged or corrected, I do not know any legal debacle, any legal suit, any legal court proceeding that is against Sunday Igboho returning to Nigeria as of today. If there is a court case that he needs to answer that is pending in Nigeria, then it is his choice after taking counsel from his legal advisor on how to go about such court case. Alternatively, I know that there was a warrant of arrest. No, I don't know whether there was a warrant of arrest. Let me correct myself. I know there was an attempt by DSS to arrest him at his home. Unfortunately, he was not available. Subsequently, we heard that he was outside of the country, and so he was pinned down at Benin Republic, which Nigeria followed up with its extradition. That didn't materialize. So we can conservatively say that likely the DSS has a warrant against him, and that warrant might still be substituted. In which case, that warrant might still be alive, that they want him for questioning or for anything. You get it? So if there are no legal cases in court against him that will warrant his custody within the framework of court, I mean the legal system, that means he's detained or whatever because of those cases. If that is not there, and it is the issue of the warrant, then that looks a bit more political to me because it's not facing trial. It's just the security agency in Nigeria wanted him for certain things. You get it? His counselors or his friends, his associates, that's why I said this. He might approach the presidency because these are the two institutions that could be of help. The presidency or the Attorney General of the Federation. that they should look into such warrant to find a way to vacate it. That means to remove that warrant. If there's no such, if they can afford him that, then he has a free passage back to Nigeria. So that to me should be what those who have his interest, and I do have his interest. Unfortunately, I'm not his counselor. But those who have his interest, I think that's a channel that they can pursue. Maybe they have done so and they've met with a brick wall. I don't know. Yes. So, but if they have not, I think that is a route they can consider. Because once that warrant is vacated, he's at liberty to return. So that is my own advice for him. If he's so desirable, particularly we all had that he lost his mother while he was away, while he was in exile. I mean, why is in exile? He's still in exile. So he lost his mom. I don't know whether the mother had been buried or not. You get it? I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation. You get it? He has our sympathy. But we cannot begin to emotionalize this thing or become unduly not clear about what to do. We must know what we can do and where it can take us. Lastly, if that did not work, peradventure, if that did not work, that is where his counselors or his friends, his associates, or member of his family approach those two institutions that I mentioned, the presidency or the Attorney General of the Federation. He himself could instruct his legal advisor to institute a case against DSS for it to vacate that warrant, if they can so establish that there is a warrant of arrest that is live against him. For any reason they can canvass that they think is plausible before the court, so that that warrant will be vacated. Or they could even get an injunction restraining all this, either the presidency, the attorney general, and all the security apparatus agencies from arresting or detaining or prosecuting him. We have seen it happen in Nigeria where somebody, after losing his immunity as a governor, he got an eternal immunity from the court, from the highest court of Nigeria, Supreme
Is that
Court.
the former Rivers State governor?
Yes, Peter Odili, for life.
Nobody can touch him.
Yes, so we cannot say that this is impossible. And that's what I don't like with our movement. When you say things to people, they tell you, oh, they are defeatists from outset.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is, I don't know.
So thank you.
Water.
Yeah, because of time, I've said that. So not so soon that the president, apart from all the worries he has to deal with, the problem of Nigeria, planning to govern Nigeria. Yeah, planning to govern Nigeria nicely, hopefully very nicely, that everybody will be happy. So he's not going to wake up one of these coming days and say, hang on a minute, where's Sunday Igboho?
I forgot. No, of course, the man has a lot in his plate now. Because I do not accept the way he had managed the subsidy. And I think I've said this many times. And I don't know how, I felt maybe I was a fool as well. You get it, within that announcement, everybody got kicked away by, oh, subsidy must go. But
okay,
with everything, I said to myself, no, this isn't right.
Okay, that might be a major discussion for another day.
Yes. Because it is the management of the subsidy that was the problem, not the subsidy.
Yes. Okay. Right. Thank you. I only have a couple of minutes to go. I want to appreciate those of you who have logged in or who have switched on to watch this show. More of it will come. I want to thank everybody. Meanwhile, let me quickly read. I think we have 2 or 3 comments here. One from Kubrat Dawodu. This wisdom, people didn't look at the case this way. God bless you, Mr. Daniel. I think that was at the initial stage of the show when we were talking about how people should look at a certain aspect of uh, court case. Some people are just jubilating and say, I think they don't know that what they have in their hand might become a worthless paper.
Of
Uh, you
course.
know, this is not being supportive of anybody. We're talking from the legal angle, what we know, and we don't deal with emotion. We know large number of people like to be emotionally uh, uh, called
Yeah.
into arguments, but we don't do that. I also have two comments from Mr. Lawrence Wemi. Shame on the government who is promising 35,000 naira when they can afford to post 2.5 million as token to the accounts of every politician to enjoy their holiday. Okay, that is related to shortly after the resumption of the senators, when it was openly heard all over the world that the president was thankful that they've given them a token of about 2 point something. Then somebody come to and say to you, Oga, if I no say that too, and then he turn it around and say, he turn the token, the money, he change it to prayers. All these are shenanigans. All these are things that I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to catch up with some of the people representing Nigerians. And I've also said on some other programs that Nigerians, this is not instigating or asking people to do anything bad. Nigerians will have to get to a point where they need to stand up. Standing up against policies, ideas that are not profitable does not mean you want to change that to change the government. It's not going to happen. You
Ma-
cannot change
ma-
government.
Can I quickly say something there?
Let me
When
read.
people,
Sorry. Let
when
me read.
people have, pardon me, sir, when
Okay.
people have this energy, they should target it on how to bring about solution. It's not, it shouldn't be about just talking of the problem.
Hmm.
If there is a problem like that, then there has to be a way to tidy it up. Because I said that the problem with the National Assembly is they have a latitude to determine what they will take.
Yes.
That
Thank
shouldn't happen. Yes, that shouldn't happen.
you. Hmm.
And that happened when Obasanjo could not tidy it up. And since no other successive government was able to do it, Obasanjo too was saying, yeah, they're giving themselves money and blah, blah, blah. The constitution specifies how money must be shared. Who should regulate what the National Assembly takes? But the National Assembly is canvassing another angle that, you know what? We are the people who put that constitution because they are the custodian of the law. That
Yes.
we are the one that we have taken the constitutions for ourselves, that this is our dog, and we are the one that is continuously writing the law, right? So we will do so to say this is how we will take our own money. But ordinarily, if any government, any head of the government, the presidency has taken the matter to Supreme Court to simply give a position on it, that you know what, within the bounds of this constitution, unless they will now have to what is it called? Uh, to rewrite the constitution. They unless
Amend.
that, yeah,
Amend.
amend. Thank you for the word. So unless they will have to amend it, which they are not desirable to do because they can't. Now, if the Supreme Court give a verdict on it, that no, this is the position of the Constitution. It is the mobilization committee that will determine how that money is, who will take what.
Okay. All right.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
who they paid to it, to this their shenanigan in saying, no, we will write our own budget. We will say that we want it. We will amass money to ourselves, and we are a separate body of government. We are we are third, second arm of government or whatever. We have equal right or equal position. That we are independent to ourselves. No,
All right.
that will not happen.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
no successive government has been able to have that goal. to do it. So it's not enough for us to castigate them and say, oh, see what they are doing, see this, blah, blah, blah. When we leave our eyes, we take our eyes off the ball. Let campaigners, let activists begin to say that this is what should be done.
Yeah,
Supreme Court will have a talk on this.
and,
Pressure the Attorney General to take the matter to the Supreme Court.
exactly.
Yes.
And you and I know that they are also part of the law that you and I said that unjust laws can be
No,
gotten.
simple thing. The states have taken
Yes,
the federal government to Supreme
yes.
Court for interpretation of certain part of the Constitution, which they had in their favor.
Okay.
This is not rocket science. And ordinarily, when such matter comes to Supreme, in matters of days or weeks, they usually sit on it and give their verdict.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there are two more. There are two more comments here before we go. Say all from Star Lawrence Bemi. Nigeria is a lawless society. No law establishing an airline will ever work, especially under a democratization of craziness called democracy. Well, again, I don't want. I wish we have enough time so I can get my guest to. But I think what our guest said is very very clear. What he said is he did not suggest that federal government should get in the business of wanting to run any airline. Most of the commission agents and whatever that works in Western world are privatized. Well, there might be a little bit of subsidy, but some of them are not will not be subject to traveling to America under a privatized airline business cannot be subsidized. You understand me? It cannot be subsidized. I just get it, and I think that's what the our guest said. If it were tomorrow, of course, to start any major business that would involve governance, that will involve any government, we have to be legislated upon. That has to be the starting point.
Yes.
Then in the legislation, then government will now explain that our involvement, if you as Mr. Lawrence Bemi are able to buy involve yourself in this, you'll be given the backup, you will be given everything, you can hobnob with other airlines, you can go to any other country as many times as you want. All we want is that the necessary, because don't forget at the end of the day, the landing, the airline, I mean the airport will have somehow be managed even under privatization again. So it's all
Yes.
privatization, private we have been talking about, and I think that's what the guest has been saying. So the last one before we go, just quickly, get real, Mr. Daniel. Which court ruling will compel DSS to stay execution of Sunday Igboho warrant of arrest? Remember, Supreme Court ruling on Nnamdi Kanu, and yet he's still being held till today. That time I ask,
There's no
comment,
Supreme, let me
please,
quickly correct. There's no Supreme Court
please.
ruling against Nnamdi Kanu. There's been a, what is it called? Court of Appeal ruling that said he should be let go. Yes. There had not been any Supreme Court pronouncement on it. Nnamdi Kanu. That should be noted.
Okay, thank you for that. And I also want to agree, maybe as a law student law, that if that got to Supreme Court, I can imagine that there would be the flaw for granting a specific person bail, and then the government is now flouting it. I'm sure the Supreme Court will have find that hole, and they probably find a solution to it.
Of course.
So, yeah, I have no doubt in my mind. I want to thank everybody for coming, and for those who have helped uh, me to share this show. I know usually from experience, after a period of time, there more people will watch, can understand people have gone to work and so on and so forth. But next time around, I'm bringing a panel, might be about 3 or 4 people together. So we want to discuss matters arising on and about Nigeria and Yoruba self-determination. It's been my pleasure, and I look forward to having you again. Segun Daniel, thank you very much for giving me your time, because everybody has have time they want to use, especially in the evening time like this. If only playing with their children and or playing with madams. So, but leaving that time for me, I highly appreciate that. Again, viewers, it's been a nice time with you again. This is the end of the
It's,
end
it's
of the
been a
show.
wonderful time
So
being on
just
your show.
1 minute roundup because
Okay.
yes,
It's been
time.
a wonderful time being on your show, and I appreciate those who made their comments and those who have watched and those who probably still see this video at some other time. I
Thank
believe it will be very informative and uh, clear to their mind on certain issues, particularly when it comes to the legal framework.
you. Okay.
And I want to quickly advise our viewers. It is not enough for us to be too emotional with matters and being subjective or being a defeatist, where we consider, oh, this cannot happen. Oh, this is what they do. This we need to look at the details of things, mostly when it comes to legal issues. They do these judges who are sitting on the cases are not themselves witness of what comes before them. So they deliver their decision based on the evidences and report or exhibits that are made available to them. You might be in
Yes, I
possession
must
of
stop you
other
because
views.
of time. I must stop you. My, studio. So thank you very
Okay,
much,
okay.
Segun.
Thank you all, viewers.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Yeah.